Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to another edition of Hidden Tracks. Today I'm lucky to have NIKI TONIK, an LA-based artist. She is soul, pop, R&B. There's a lot going on with her. There's a lot of things that I can't explain about with her music because it is something that I didn't know I was ready for. But I'm glad I found her, and I'm glad to have her on the show. So NIKI TONIK, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I first got to say is I'm an extremely judgmental asshole. Okay, so I when I first saw your album cover, I was like, "What am I getting myself into?" Because it was very artistic, and I'm a plain type of person.
Got you.
And I turned on the title track, Right on Time, and immediately I said, "Holy fuck." I go, wait, this isn't Sade? The first song, like Right on Time. That's what I thought it was. And then Ghost Stories came on. And I have to tell you, Ghost Stories to me is one of the most exciting tracks I've heard in a long time that I started forcing it down people's throat.
Wow, I really appreciate you saying that. It definitely warms my heart to hear that. So thank you.
So what brought you into this genre of music?
I don't know that I ever sought out a specific genre. I think it's just, I just started singing and writing from a place of just things that like melodies that I had heard or things that I recalled musically growing up. So it was kind of just like an amalgamation of things that I heard that led me to start writing songs in what's, I guess, considered to be the pop genre. I would consider myself to be progressive pop. Just because the lyrics and the content of which the things that I write about just tend to be a little bit more progressive. And so, yeah, I think just progressive pop. I have influences of R&B, soul, rock. There's also some jazz on the album. So I really appreciate the Sade reference because that's one that I've gotten quite a few times. So it's nice to know that that's still the vibe that people are getting because I don't think you can really go wrong with sounding like Sade.
No, but that Right on Time track, that sounds exactly like, I was literally transported. I was like, oh my, this. And then when Ghost Stories kicks in, like I was just brought to an entirely different place. And I want to apologize by genre labeling you.
It's all good.
No. Listen, I only really have to do it for my listeners because everybody wants some type of genre. Totally. I personally say there's no such thing as genre music because it's all just fucking music and you either like it or you don't.
Right. But I get, there's labels have their importance, so people can actually find things that are similar to artists that they like. So I totally get it, and it all has its place.
Now, you picked an interesting time to release Right on Time.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't really realize, to be honest, I think like most other people, I was really excited about 2020, and none of us really knew what a shit show of a year it was going to turn into. But to be honest, the album really like reflects the darkness as well as light. So I think that I felt even more compelled to release the album once I saw what was going on. And then the date 10/10/2020, I'm really into numerology and astrology and all that stuff, and all kinds of spiritual practices. So that date to me really resonated, and it's also like wrapping up a 10-year cycle because this album is, for one reason or another, it's taken me like 10 years to put out. So just redoing songs and, adding things that I thought needed to be there. But yeah, I'm really glad it came out during the pandemic, and now I think that, especially since more people are spending time online and discovering new things, I just hope that people have found it and it's, provided some kind of comfort and inspiration to people. So yeah, I mean, who knew 2020, but at the same time, it was, the year I released my debut album. So for me, it was like a bittersweet experience.
Yeah, and I mean it's so hard to tell nowadays what's going to resonate, what's going to hit when it hits.
Right.
Um, Talked a lot here about the stupid algorithms on Spotify for someone's song to fall into a playlist, and it's really just it's a journey and it's a search to find what you're going to like,
Hmm.
and to I feel bad, especially for a lot of artists today, because it's so easy to get music out, but it's also so easy to get lost in the shuffle.
Totally. Yeah. I completely agree with that. I think it's definitely interesting releasing music right now because there's absolutely so much oversaturation in the market. I mean, it's a beautiful thing that we can release music so easily, but at the same time, it's like, how do you sift out, you know, the good music from maybe the subpar? But yeah, it's funny that you brought that up because part of me really feels like I wish I was around in the 90s. Like I wish I was coming up in the 90s when talent is all that really mattered, and now there's
Hmm.
just so many other factors to making it in music. So yeah, it's an interesting time, but I mean, none of that's going to stop me at the end of the day. I'm going to keep doing what I have to do to get people to hear it, and being on shows like this, it helps. And yeah, people who actually give a shit about the music, that's those are the people I want to talk to. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that, everything that you said about it.
Yeah, and I mean, really, that's the bottom line to me. It's about the music, and if you're making good music will stand the test of time. And
Totally.
I think as an artist and producing something, you have to think about, okay, I can, there's a lot of people out there that put out songs every fucking day. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
just take your time, create something that will forever stand the test of time. And that's because it's going to live on much longer than you are.
Totally. Absolutely. And part of the inspiration for the album is or was just to basically have a song in like one song in every genre, and so that there's something on there for everybody. And I love hearing people tell me, "Oh, this song is my favorite." And like literally I have if you have one song that's really good and people tell you that's the song, that's the song. And for me, it's like people have told me every single song on the album is their favorite. So that for me, I feel like, well, cool. Then I accomplished, you know, pleasing more than just one person, which is good. So
Yeah.
yeah, just
But it
finding
had to
ways
start
to
off
stay
with
unique.
pleasing yourself, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and I never really like do music for other people. I think the creative stuff, like when it comes to like social media and content and stuff, like obviously it's something that you want to show people what you're up to, and you always want to come up with creative contents and ideas and stuff like that. But for the album, it was something that was just like I didn't think about it like, oh cool, like let me write a hip hop song, like let me do a pop song. It was just stuff that came out naturally. And my boyfriend TMG Music, who also produced our latest single Equinox, produced over half the songs on my album. And with Right on Time, he was just like playing this really beautiful melodic track. And I was like, ooh, I think that would be a great intro, because I wanted something that was kind of like open, free form, that was just kind of flowy to let people in. And then when Ghost Stories comes in, it's like it's completely different. So I describe it as like a musical rainbow, so to speak. So there's a little bit of something on there for everybody, hopefully.
Yeah, and I mean you explain it perfectly, because I didn't create it, so I can't explain it to other people as well. But there's something for everyone on there. There is that hip hop, there's the jazz, you got some funk in there. You have
Mhm.
you have some great melodic guitars in there too, where you're not expecting it, and that just brings other people and other people's ears to it, because
Yeah.
then that's what matters, what they hear.
Totally. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm someone that my boyfriend and I are, I guess, for this generation, like I think we're a little bit more old school because we love the live instruments and stuff. And of course you can get stuff that's programmed that sounds great. but I think just, yeah, the importance of having like live instruments, live music. Like I wrote all those songs on the album, and even though I had them co-produced, I still wrote all the songs. So yeah, it's important to me to be able to exercise different parts of my craft and creativity, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way the album turned out, and I think it came out at a perfect time. So yeah, I'm a little pat on the back for that one for myself.
Well, after 10 years, you should
Yeah,
have a million pats on the back for pushing through. And I mean, you want to talk about a labor of love there. I mean, that's 10
yeah.
years to put something out. That's a labor of love.
Totally. It totally was, and it was something that, like, I always was dreaming about my first album, like putting it out, and I didn't realize it was going to take that long. I mean, honestly, I think that just being a perfectionist and a combination of that, and also nobody really telling you as an independent artist like what the route is, or you're trying to figure out the sound, you're trying to figure out production and mixing and all this stuff. So I think that, I had a few songs that I redid a few times. And then I have the song with the jazz song on there, If the Moon is on Fire, with Kamasi Washington, and that was something that we recorded live in like 2011 in somebody's living room, and that was just all organic. I didn't even know I was going to put that on the album, but then I decided, why not? That was part of my, even if the vocals weren't perfect, even if it wasn't, the mix wasn't perfect, it was still something that I'm proud of that it happened. And, just opening up with showing more of my process to people. That's definitely been a big thing.
Yeah, and you've picked a hard lane to go in as an artist to have perfection issues. I mean, I'm the same way, where I get so frustrated, and you talk about numerology and stuff like that. Like, I'm a perfectionist. My favorite time of day is 12:34, just because
really?
it's so perfect.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So
yeah,
and that's my wife's like, you're nuts. I'm like,
is that
I'm not
OCD?
nuts.
Is that a little OCD in there too?
It's OCD too. And
like,
she's
how
like,
did I
so
tell based off that reading?
yeah. And she's like, well, what's your second favorite time of day? 1, 2, 3. I go, no, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what it is, but that's just,
okay.
Yeah. So,
well,
but yeah, you pick.
Have you ever looked up the numerology for what that means? Like, you can look online for like angel messages, angel codes. Like, whenever I'm curious, if I see a number repeatedly, I just look it up online, and it gives me some kind of insight. So I'm just curious to know if you ever explored that.
I did not, because I'm afraid of what I may find. That's usually my problem. With superstitions and stuff, like, I'm afraid of.
Right now, do you want to do it as a spontaneous thing?
No.
I can read your numerology, not your numerology, but I guess for that number. I'm
No.
actually curious because I love this kind of stuff. So here, let's take a look. I usually look at the 3 sequence numbers, like 888, 555, 444, like all those numbers. I see those on the back of license plates all the time, and
yeah, I just don't want to get put on blast for something that could be crazy on my own show right now.
I don't think we usually put, to be honest, and the most crazy for description for numerology was 666, which obviously there's different interpretations for that, but it's just, yeah, I think that was like the worst one that I saw, but I don't think it's going to be anything bad. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 numerology meaning. Okay, as mentioned at the beginning of this article, numerology conveys a different meaning of 1, 2, 3, 4. Generally, 1, 2, 3, 4 is a combination of concepts associated with self-determination, exploration, independence, teamwork, and creativity.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe that's a start, and then there's more.
Yeah, that's good enough.
I'm not going to turn this into like me interviewing you, so I'm not going to steal the show from you.
Hey, that's okay. It's happened before. People have pulled stuff out of me that I've been holding on to for a long time to not put out.
Maybe this was a secret reading for you in disguise. Disguise as an interview for me.
So I want to find out a little bit more about you personally. I start this as it's a hard question, but for me, it was very simple to come up with. Okay. And that's your first musical memory when music changed for you, when it was no longer cartoon theme songs or PBS sing-along stuff. The first time you heard something that was different than, even though Disney soundtracks are their own music and it is great music, but like that first time something changed for you as a child, when you heard something and said, wow, what is this?
I would say like the first tapes that I had were Britney Spears and Mariah Carey. Those were the two, but to be honest, like I think Whitney Houston was probably the biggest influence. I didn't grow up in this country. I grew up in Israel, so as far as like the kids TV shows that you would see here, like Disney stuff. I mean, we had Disney, but it wasn't, I didn't really grow up on the same stuff that people here grew up on. There was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like influences of European pop and Barbie girl, you know, like all that stuff when I was right around the age, like 10 years old, when I was actually getting into music. But yeah, those first CDs, like I had J-Lo's first album. I remember NSYNC, Destiny's Child. So I think just like, yeah, pop in the 90s, that was really it for me. Christina Aguilera. Was it a particular song? I mean, I think I just remember the era more than a particular song. But as far as like the most influential singer, I would say Whitney Houston for sure. Like she's in a whole different category for me.
Yeah, well,
And for most people, obviously.
yeah, I mean, again, it's always going to be shown here every Super Bowl, but her rendition of Star Spangled Banner for the Super Bowl is quite honestly, it could be one of the greatest live recorded songs of all time. I mean, it was so powerful.
Yeah. She her spirit is and the combination of her voice is something very special. And you know, I really appreciated what she brought to this planet and I mean, just what she did for so many people musically. I feel like Beyonce, I didn't really grow up like a hardcore Beyonce fan, but I did listen to Destiny's Child like early on. And lately it's, you know, I've just been feeling like resonating more and more with Beyonce. I think just probably just who she is as a person and how she's like, how much she's been through. And you can hear that in the music. And, but she's of course extremely talented. I mean, she's the number one entertainer of our time, you know, as far as my generation goes. So yeah, just artists that really had have a powerful voice, and also just like, yeah, they have a special presence. Like there's something, I can't really describe it, but like Beyonce, Whitney Houston, they have a special heart. You know what I mean? It's like it takes a special person to be able to open heart so many people's hearts and entertain on the level that they do and they did. So yeah, I don't
it's
even know
soulful, and that's what they sing. It's soulful. You can feel their soul through their voice.
Absolutely. And Sade, in a different way.
Yeah. Sure. So growing up in Israel, was music attainable, or was it just being able, the popular stuff that was very worldly at the time? Was that you resonated towards that because that's what was accessible?
There was a lot of music accessible. I mean, we had all the stuff from, you know, when Britney was coming out, Christina, like that was, you know, the golden age of pop, I guess, for in this country. And at the same time, it was you know, access to Israeli music, which is Israeli pop, and also like Israeli Middle Eastern music, which is different than pop, but it's still popular. European pop, just all different kinds, like hip hop. I think I was exposed to a lot of different genres. My mom would always play Bob Marley was like Legends album was always on rotation. Van Morrison. More like the folky singer-songwriter type of stuff, Motown. So I think I just grew up with a lot of different influences of sounds, and probably more, I'm glad that I grew up in another country to be able to have access to like more genres of music than just from America. So
yeah, you get different tastes, different feels. I remember I was in the military, and I was in Kuwait for a while, and I went to a music store one day, and I was like, I'm just buying something from here. And I was like, okay, this is something I've never heard before. And it's so different that I was just like, okay, my ears have never heard this, but it should. I should hear this stuff. And, you know, sometimes that stuff gets pocketed and thrown in other areas. I mean, it's not like, you know, I don't want no German dubstep or anything for me to, you know, go crazy with. But I mean, there's so much the sounds. I guess it's just the tones, the
Mm,
tonal quality of music, and no matter what it is or where it's from, if it has that great sweet tonal quality,
yep.
you can just fall in love with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, music is the one universal language, and it connects us all. And
I say it all the time. That's
yep,
what I say. It's the universal language, and music is also the closest thing we have to a time machine.
I agree. I really do. And I think that I'm so glad to still be pursuing music despite everything. And, whether I've received the recognition that I feel like I deserve or that I want, or, regardless of just, getting paid off of it. It's something that I can't not do. So therefore I have to do it. I have to keep doing it, and I have to keep finding ways of staying inspired. I think that for a while I was kind of like in a loop of like just putting out, like trying to keep up with the social media stuff and just having content and stuff, and trying to make other people happy, and like, oh, are they going to like this? And but then that kind of just gets really exhausting when you're in it for the long haul. You just have to keep
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff that makes you happy. And even though it started as like, I'm doing this to make me happy, I think somewhere along the way we can kind of get like lost. It's really hard as an independent artist. Like, it really is. There's no guarantees. Even people that telling you they have connections to get you to a certain place, it's like that's never a sure thing. And you're just constantly pouring money into it until you see some kind of return, or somebody actually care and want to listen to it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's a hard space to be, but I don't really see like I have a choice. It's not something that, because if I gave myself the choice, then I probably wouldn't do it. Like, if I saw that I had another choice other than this, then it's, I don't know that I would have that same like fire under my ass to keep doing it.
yeah, and you also have to look at it, and I look at it the same way with this show. When it when it feels like work, I got to step back
Yeah.
because it's all about passion. This for me is, I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy talking and finding out about new people, and talking about music because it's something I love so much and it's so near and dear to my heart. But the
Hmm.
minute it starts to feel like work, I have to step back, and that's the social media game. I honestly, fuck that. Like, I'm sorry, I gotta say, I can't handle it. Like, I
Yeah.
can't. It's so hard. It's a job in and of itself just
It
to
really
run
is.
your own
Yeah.
social media.
It really is. And that's why, and that's my boyfriend was saying the other day, because I was, in the middle of a PR campaign, which is part of how I got this interview. And I hope you don't mind me even saying that, but whatever.
No,
But my boyfriend was on the whole, like, yeah, fuck social media tip too. And it's like, I feel that too, but I know that if I like feel like, I don't want to feel that, because I know that it can be a tool, and that I,
yeah.
should keep using it until it's done,
Yeah, you
so
have to use it.
it,
And that's
right.
one of the things is you
So I
have
tried to
to
create
use
like
it.
a positive relationship with it rather than be like, fuck it. Because if I said fuck it, I really wouldn't get anywhere with it. And it's like,
Yeah.
it can be so long to not feel like fuck my Instagram. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm getting places. Like, it's starting to move. And so I just, it's just a part of it. I think that it sucks. Most of it sucks, like being an independent music. The only part that doesn't suck is making the music itself. Like, everything else about it, until enough people hear it, until you make money back from it, like, it's not something that, you should rely on to make money. And that's why I'm glad I have other things that I do to be able to support myself, because when it happens, it happens. And I think that I just have to keep that relationship of like, when it happens, it happens. Otherwise, that does cause to, it leads to burnout and to being more of like, fuck you. Like, why hasn't this happened yet? If I just keep waiting for it. So yeah, it's just, just like you said, I have to enjoy it for it to even mean anything. So.
Yeah. When did you first start creating music? So if you in your teen years you find Britney Spears and
Mhm.
beyond, Destiny's Child and stuff, when did you realize that music was something you wanted to be a part of your life for the long haul? When you wanted to start creating on your own?
Right around that time when I first, started, like when Britney was coming out and like all these young pop stars, and I was just like glued to the TV and listening to it. I just felt like, I don't know if it was like a realization of like, that's what I want to be, that's what I'm going to do. It's just, it was so like it already just felt like a part of me. Like, I was so drawn to it that like shortly after that time, song melodies and stuff started coming to me like in my head. And then when I got to college, my brother taught me how to play guitar. So I sort of mixed like the melodies that I was hearing in the shower and things like that with just playing basic guitar chords. And eventually that's how my first songs came about. And I do play a little bit of piano. Like I dabble on piano. I'm not like I can write songs on piano. So the combination of like knowing a little bit of piano, a little bit of guitar was enough to get me, by to write, some of my first songs. And, yeah, it was like the feeling of just always wanting to have that out of the first album. Like I got to have an album. I have an album. That was like the dream. And now that the album's out, it's like, okay, what's next? So, yeah, I'm just happy to keep creating music, and our new song Equinox, I'm really excited about. But yeah, I don't know that there was like a certain time that I was just like, this is it. It's just, I loved music so much from a young age that it just like was a part of me moving forward,
Do you remember what it was like performing in front of people, for the first time, your own music?
Yeah, let's see, the first time that I performed in front of people, I started performing where are you based out of, by the way? You're not in LA, are you?
No, New Jersey.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Right outside of New York City. So.
Got you. Yeah, I started performing at this restaurant that I worked at in LA called Cafe Gratitude. It's like a popular vegan restaurant. There was a lot of celebrities and people that would come through there, including Jason Mraz, who is a part owner in the restaurant. And I pretty much started working there like so that I could meet him and work with him. And I did end up singing on stage with him in Hollywood, which was really cool, but it was nerve-wracking. I did perform a couple times before that. I'm trying to remember like when my very first performance was. I did the House of Blues on Sunset before it closed in Hollywood. But yeah, to be honest with you, I prefer to perform in front of a larger audience than smaller, because when it's like people I know looking back at me, I tend to get more nervous. So larger, I'm excited to like play the larger stadiums and places when they start opening up. I know it might be a little bit of a ways for me to develop to get to that place, and also when need to have things actually reopen for that to be possible. But yeah, I think I was pretty nervous, and we'll see how it goes moving forward, because it's like everything's been like via Zoom, online, in front of a computer. It's going to be interesting to see like how we all transition back to performing in person again. So kind of feels like it's been so long since that's happened.
Yeah, it truly does. Do you remember the first compliment you got from a stranger about your music?
The first compliment? Well, I guess this one's funny enough. I applied for this online music program. It was like a music competition where they had celebrity judges for different categories. There was like one guy for production, one guy for vocals, and actually Babyface was the dude that was in charge of the vocal department, and he personally reviewed my music and gave me some really nice reviews. And I've never met him, so I still don't know him, but he actually compared my voice to Sade as well. So that was a like very nice compliment from a stranger. And then he also said that my songwriting was excellent. So stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, let me grab that quote, because coming from somebody like Babyface, that's probably like the most significant compliment from a celebrity that I've received. Yeah, so I'll just stick with that, I guess.
Did performing come easy to you once you started, when you first started playing in front of strangers? Did it come easy to you after? I mean, everybody has your jitters the first couple times you do it,
right.
But was it something that you were just like, yeah, it almost feels like it's nothing anymore, and you're doing it because it's so natural? Was that, or did you have to work extra hard at it? Easy or extra hard?
I feel like to be honest, I'm still getting to that place where I'm like super comfortable in front of an audience. And, the fact that it's just been, things have been shut down and it's been a while, I think I just need to probably rebuild that comfortability. I mean, I think that I've definitely played a lot of like coffee shops and with my guitar and stuff like that in like small intimate venues that I'm now excited to explore the larger venues. But at the same time, it's like you have to kind of start small to be comfortable enough to build up to the larger venues. So yeah, when things reopen, I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of live performance. I mean, I definitely see myself performing in front of large audiences. When that's going to be, I don't know, but I'm really excited for that to happen and to be able to have a really large audience and just kind of like get lost in the moment. I don't know that because all the venues that I performed at have kind of been those small, like people that I know type venues, great places,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't had that experience of just like closing my eyes and like hearing the fans cheer and just taking it all in. Like that's something that I still, I mean, I think every artist dreams of that, but it's still something that I for sure want to accomplish and I'm still working towards.
So you had a new single, Equinox, came out in March, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of lived. One of my favorite lines in music ever is, "You have your whole life to create your first album, and then from there it just gets harder."
Yeah.
So was Equinox something that was left off your album, or was it something that you created after you released the album, so you have something new to work towards?
Equinox was completely separate of the album. TMG Music, my boyfriend, is constantly working on new music and, different beat every single day, kind of stuff like that. And he was just working on this song while we were still in the process of finishing up the album. And I really liked the ambient aspects of the production. It kind of made me think about like um, kind of like a rainforest. It had like this rainforest type vibe where it's just like, I don't know. It took me into a zone, into a place, and then the lyrics started flowing out of it. So, well, actually, I'm sorry. He wrote the lyrics for that song, and I sang. I sang on it. I think I was just kind of going into right on time because you were talking about it. That's what I was thinking about. But with Equinox, they have somewhat of a similar vibe. It has like that ambient pop type sound. So, yeah, he wrote the song, he produced it, and then when I heard it, I was like, wow, this is a really special song, and the lyrics are it's a very unique kind of pop song. I don't think that you hear too many people talking about like nature and the elements and like kind of tying it all together in a pretty dream pop, in a little rapper. So I was really just excited about the song, and I wanted to sing on it, and he heard me on it, and then we ended up just doing it as a duet, and yeah, just really happy with how it came out.
So are you creating more now? Are you working towards your second album, or are you just taking a break because it took you, as long as it did to get right on time out, or are you just constantly creating?
I would say that I'm still constantly creating. I'm not like intentionally working towards my second album. Like it's not like I'm just going to end up making more songs, and I'm sure eventually that's going to turn into the second album. I don't have it like in mind where it's like, okay, here, we're starting the second album. It's kind of like still coming off of the wave of Right on Time and then Equinox. And I do plan on releasing a remix to one of my songs that's on the album in the summer. And then that's kind of going to be like, and we're going to do the video for Equinox. I'm really excited about that too. So before I kind of move on to other things, I really want to put out the video for Equinox, then have my remix song come out. And then after that, I'm going to kind of like maybe take a breather after that. You know what I mean? Kind of just like assess where I'm at. And I'm excited to have fun and create and do things that are exciting, that don't involve any sort of pressure. Cause I know the album, like once I decided the date was going to be 10/10, it's, when you have a project like that, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. So I wouldn't say I'm like, getting started on the second album quite yet. I'm still riding this wave, and then Equinox is like a nice little extra bonus that I feel like I just wanted something positive. That's why we put out Equinox right now, because it's just been such a heavy year, and it's springtime, and I just thought this is the perfect song to release right in line with the spring equinox, and it really does talk about all those elements of nature. So that's how that came to be.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of year is when I start to hear I'm a northeasterner, so the minute
Mm.
I start hearing the birds in the morning, I know
Oh
that
yeah,
like okay, we're
the
getting
best.
out of the winter doldrum. This feels
Yeah,
amazing. There's nothing better than the birds singing in the morning to wake up to. I'm just like, okay,
totally. We were just
I
talking
feel
about this
so
the
much
other
better.
day, how cute the birds are when they sing and they're chirping, and it's like, yeah, and then they come and like look at you in the window, and then you feel like you're talking about you and go talk to their other bird friends. I don't know. I was literally having a whole conversation about this with my boyfriend. How the birds are like they're having their whole separate side dialogues that we have no idea even what they're talking about. So
Well, it's like when you can hear them talk to each other. The other day, my wife and I are sitting outside having lunch, and I was just like, I go, those you hear those? They're talking to each other. I don't
yeah,
know what the fuck they're saying, but
yeah,
they're
yeah,
definitely talking.
for
They
sure.
might be talking about me
Yeah, that's
because
what I said too. I had that the other day.
yeah.
There was this little blue jay that came and just like into the yard and was looked at me, and then he hopped back into a tree and then started conversing. And I was like, "Oh, you talking about like I know you know I'm here." It's like, yeah, I mean, that's normal. Like obviously, nature is communicating, and for us to think that we're the only ones that have anything going on to talk about is just kind of funny. Just because you don't speak somebody's language doesn't mean that they're not saying anything. So,
Well
anyways,
said.
neither here nor there.
Do you have anything that I guess uh, we label it as a guilty pleasure here, but I like to label it as more. Is there anything that you listen to that someone would be surprised that you really enjoy listening to, music wise?
That's a good question. Actually, yeah. There is a really beautiful West African instrument called the kora. I believe it's spelled Kora. Um, I don't even remember how I was specifically introduced to this. I know I was in San Francisco like a long time ago, and I met up with these people, and this girl had this really cool instrument, and I was like, "What is that?" It's basically like built out of a gourd, and it's kind of like a West African harp. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you play it like it's a stringed instrument that you play with your thumbs and your forefingers. And so I started. She let me play it for a couple of days, and it was something that I was like really got into. And then she showed me some of like the best artists that kora people that play the kora. So just like West African artists like Tumani Diabate, that was like the one that she showed me. And it was very meditative. I still listen to it, to that kind of stuff. I also really like meditation music. I don't know that people would be surprised that I listen to that, but I really like love all different genres of music. Especially when it's like cool instrumental music from different parts of the world. That's something that just it's nice to kind of turn off like lyrics and speaking and just kind of listen to sounds. So yeah, I think that, and just I'm just inspired by a lot of different sounds.
No, I'm going to ask you. This is our pick your favorite child segment of the show, where the first question I'm going to ask is, what's the favorite song that you've recorded so far that is out that you've released? What's your
Mm,
favorite song of your own?
that is
Pick
such
your
a hard
favorite
question.
child.
I don't. I really. I know a lot of people probably say this, but I don't. I don't have a favorite. They all are like. It feels good to be like, wow, my song. Oh, they're all really good. I I don't know the song. What I'm for, which is I think it's the third track on the album. Um, that also has a Sade type vibe to it. I don't know if you remember listening to that one, but um, something about the lyrics.
I listened to your whole album 10 times. So
Oh wow, that's such a compliment. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, what I'm for is just felt like a special song again when that one came about. Um, I just felt like the lyrics were sort of like channeled, or they came to me, and it was like just asking the question like, what am I for? What is my life for? And I just feel like it was I just feel like it was an important message to share. I mean, they all feel important, I know, but that one for some reason it feels like it comes from a different place, and it's yeah, special
okay.
connection with that one.
So it could be the same answer, but this is the second part of this. If someone wanted to know you as an artist, what song of yours would you recommend?
The album.
Yeah, no,
honestly,
yeah,
honestly,
listen to it all.
it's so hard because like you said, and that's exactly the effect that I wanted, that I want the music to have, is you hear one song and the next one is like, whoa, didn't see that coming. And that's pretty much for people to see what I have up my sleeve and what I'm capable of musically. I really just, you got to hear the album. Like, it's kind of like at this point, if somebody just hears one song that they like, that's great, but they don't really know me fully as an artist. And so when people take the time to listen to the whole album and listen to it multiple times, I really, really appreciate it, because yeah, a lot did go into it. And so that the album, that really just is kind of me in a nutshell. That describes me. And I think when people like have listened to the album, they've told me like, I really understand you better now. And that's something that I think every artist hopes for, is that, just to be able to communicate through art.
So that'll lead nicely to, so how will, since we are in the, it's so weird being in the singles world, where people are dropping singles like once a week or once a month, and if you're trying to create something that you're showing how diverse you are, if moving forward in this business, how do you foresee yourself playing that singles game if you want someone to just say everything is so different and listen to how different it is, which your album, every song is, say it again, every song is great in its entirety, but it's awesome listening to it on a full album than it would be hearing one song at a time.
Thank you.
So do you foresee yourself, if so you go to create another album, would you play that singles game where here's, I'm going to put out an album eventually and it'll become an album, but I'm going to throw out a single every month or every other month? Is that something you're willing to do with your music?
Yeah.
Or,
I think that the intention with the album, and for me, the idea is that for every song to be good enough to be the single. You know what I mean? That's why I put out, for me, it was like, if it's not going to be as good as the last one, or if it's not going to be on the same level, then why put it on the album? Moving forward, it's possible that I may just do singles and promote the shit out of individual singles, because I don't even know if people can appreciate an album like that. That's just, if unless they're given like, oh, here's the single, and then they go and discover it. So for me, I've been promoting all the songs equally.
Yeah, and I think it's really hard now too. I'm an album. I love an album because an album usually tells a story. And I also hate waiting. that impatience, that ADD of waiting for something. Like I'll find an artist and I'll be like, I'll hear a song, I'll be like, oh my god, I love this. I got to dive into it. And it's like, here's 4 of our singles that we've put out, and we're putting one. And I'm just like, and then you start to forget.
You want more,
yeah,
right.
And you need more. And then, I guess that's where it's good. If you like this, you'll like this. But it's still, I want to have that connection to an artist and to everything they're doing. And it's hard sometimes, especially in today's day and age, where there's so many different avenues, so many different ways to find music, so many different. I spend on average probably 5 hours a day on Bandcamp.
Wow, a lot of time listening to music. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally get, where we are, and that people want stuff right away, and like the singles game it's where it's at. I think that eventually, as the songs keep building from the album on Spotify, that people will get a chance to listen to the album as a whole. And I don't really know what song is going to be like the one that makes me kind of like pop onto the scene. I guess doing stuff like this, it's just building organically, and eventually people will hear and more people will find you. So I just knew for sure that I had to put out that album. I had to have the first album with those songs, and moving forward, I'm totally open to seeing. I don't even know that I will do a full second album. I might just do singles moving forward. I might not even release music after the summer and just keep it all for my catalog to get placements. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole other avenue that, we've been discussing and talking about, like, because it is expensive to promote music and to put it out there. And I think I read somewhere that on average, like like 60 something thousand new songs appear on Spotify every day that don't get
Yes,
any.
you read that correctly.
Yeah.
I think it was 66,580 something was
Yeah.
the average per day.
It's crazy. And if that
Ain't
doesn't
nobody
touch
got time
me,
for
that's
that.
alarming, it's like alarming because it's like all these people are putting out music and, it's just sitting there. So unless you're really pouring money into it, as I've been doing, it's really hard to get stuff to move. And then just to get the interest of, you just got to keep building. I mean, I don't really know, what else to, how else to say. I mean, exactly what I'm talking about. It's not like I'm
Yes, I know.
sharing something that you're not aware of, but yeah, just to see like how much work it takes to put into it. I probably will end up just continuing with singles after this until I can see that I've gotten enough support and hopefully recoup some of the money that I put into, the album and videos and stuff moving forward. Yeah, I may just do singles, and who knows? My hope is that as I continue creating in other avenues, that people will come to find the music, and there's not really like a time limit, but for when things can happen. So I'm kind of just riding the wave of the album, and yeah, really excited to do the video for Equinox, which will be exciting to share with people once that's ready. So we'll see how it goes.
And that's a whole other avenue nowadays with videos and trying
Yeah,
to make sure people can get to them and see them. It's, you
totally.
know, we're not in
It
that
all
world where
sucks. It all sucks. I mean, it's like, other than creating the art itself, that's why I'm like, if I want to do some cool, extravagant video for the song, because that's going to be a dope memory for me and my boyfriend to have, and like, we created this, and even if we're the only people that see it or care about it, I'm sure other people will, obviously, but kind of just making it not for the validation. I think that's, from what I've heard from other people, that's usually when the success comes, when you're not waiting for people to give a shit, when you're not waiting for people to care so much, and you just consistently create good art. I mean, people have to notice at some point, it's just, that's kind of like, the cream rises to the top. So I think if you're making good music and good art, people will listen, the people will come. So
yeah, no, I 100% agree. And this is, this show began as a passion project. And at some point it started to feel a little bit like work. And then I said, okay, got to take it back a little bit. And I am at that point where I don't care if anybody listens to it anymore, but I want to do this. I
right.
enjoy it. This is what I enjoy. And if I enjoy it, somebody else has to enjoy it,
Absolutely. Totally. Sorry, I didn't mean to
All
cut you
right.
off.
No, that's totally fine because I don't want to keep you much longer today. And I want to you got the Equinox came out about a month ago. You're preparing a video for it. Do you have anything else that you're working on that you'd like to tell people about?
I am, mentioned that I have a remix of a song coming out this summer. I'm not going to say what that song is yet, just because let it be a surprise. So you can expect at least one more song from me by this summer, and the video. And if I shared any more information, I think I'd probably kill the excitement about if I told you the video, because I have some really cool plan for it. So yeah, just gonna let that speak for itself.
Let's make people find it and get it.
Yes, totally. Well, thank you so much for honestly just actually listening to the music, and for caring enough to listen to it multiple times. That as an artist, that's the thing that we hope to hear and that we care about the most. So thank you so much for doing that.
Well, I feel as an artist such as yourself, someone that takes the time to create something special and to put it out there in the world for people to, like I say, most of the time people are either going to shit on it, or people are either going to love it, or the last thing, people aren't going to care at all.
Right.
But the fact that you put yourself out there in such a way, you deserve to have someone listen to it multiple times and enjoy it and share it with other people. That's my feeling on an artist that does, what an artist does, and that's share who they are. And
totally.
You deserve that for all that hard work you put into it.
Oh, thank you, Shane. I really appreciate that. Yeah. And just knowing that you've been listening to it and sharing it with people, like, that's all you could really hope for. So, let that continue. And I'm going to just keep making art because I love it. And, the more people that hear it, great. That would be amazing. So thank you so much for having me. And
yeah, we got one more thing for you here.
Okay.
We end our show every week with our weekly threes. And our weekly threes are 3 things you're listening to right now. It could be new, it could be old, it could be Britney Spears again, but 3 things you're listening to right now that you would want, someone else to listen to.
Okay. I am listening to a really awesome, it's a Sunday morning. It's called a Sunday devotional service that Ricky Byers, who is a really amazing spiritual singer-songwriter, she basically hosts it. And then her daughter, Georgia Ann Muldrow, who is an incredible off-the-chain soul singer. She's been nominated for a Grammy, and she's really talented. Every single Sunday they perform live on Facebook. It starts at 10 o'clock, so it's from 10 to noon on Facebook Live. It's called Ricky Byers. You could just find her Instagram. I'm sorry, her Facebook. It's RICKIE BYERS, and then she's live every single Sunday at 10. So I think that's like 2 people, I guess, that I'm listening to. The third that I'm listening to, there's a band that I really, really like called Rivers and Robots. They are, I don't know if you would call it like, I'm not religious. I'm definitely more spiritual, but it's like music, beautiful music about God. That's what I'll just say. I won't call it Christian or anything like that. I'll just say it's really beautiful music about God, and it's very spiritual, really beautiful lyrics and melodies. And I think that people would enjoy listening to that. Rivers and Robots. And that's it. Is that 3? Yeah, I think that was 3, right?
Yeah, that's 3. I will throw out my 3 for this week.
Okay.
My 3 for this week, one is a band called Dikembe. They are from Florida. They're alt punk emo, just a really good band to listen to. Next is a band that I got to say, through all these episodes, that I always forget that I love until I hear a song from them again, and that's Rise Against. It's, they started out really, really punk back in the day. Then they moved on to rock. And I mean, just every time I hear a song, but I forget how much I love them. So this week I've been listening to a lot of them again. And last but not least is a band called Enter Shaqiri, British rock band that has taken steps almost such as yourself of changing things up through songs. In their latest album, every song's different, and it just has some electronica in it. It has some, one song sounds metal, but the guy's got an amazing voice, so you have the metal in the background. It just really good. So Enter Shaqiri is my 3rd for this week.
Cool. That kind of reminds me of Shakira. I used to listen to Shakira all the time, and so the fact that you just said that, I was like, oh yeah, Shakira. I guess I can put that on there.
So why don't you take this last minute here for yourself to tell everybody how to find you, how to find throughout your Instagram, your Facebook, your website, everything, so everyone here can figure out how to get all your stuff and keep up to date in what you're doing.
Cool. Yeah. You can find me at nikitonik.com. It's just www.nikitonik.com. And then all the links to my socials are right there, my Instagram, SoundCloud, and Spotify. So the website is the best place to find out about me and all the music and things that I'm up to. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So Nikki, thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you as an artist. Keep it up. We look forward to great things from you in the future, and we hope your break comes soon. So
thanks,
everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Everybody go out and have a great time.
You too. Have a great day.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.